About 2% of people in developed countries live long enough to reach the age of 100, giving them the title of centenarian. Of those lucky few, only around 1 in 1,000 of them live to the age of 110, which is what constitutes someone as a supercentenarian. There has been one verified person in history to reach and live beyond the age of 120. Her name was Jeanne Calment. Jeanne Calment was born on February 21, 1875, in Arles, France, to a wealthy family of millers and shipbuilders. She would be raised in Arles, and this is where she would live for the entirety of her very long life. Jeanne's upbringing was fairly typical of an upper-class French girl of the time. She attended school, learned to paint, and learned to play the piano. When she was a young girl, her father took her to Paris, where she saw the Eiffel Tower as it was being built. When Jeanne was 13 years old, she claims to have met Vincent Van Gogh, who was living in Arles in the years 1888 and 1889. Jeanne's family owned a drapery shop in Arles, and Van Gogh would frequently shop there to buy canvas for his paintings. Jeanne did not have a very high opinion of him, saying that he was an ugly man, more interested in drinking than painting, he reeked of alcohol. Jeanne would marry her double-second cousin Ferdinand Calment in 1896. She would give birth to her only daughter, Yvonne Calment, in 1898. Yvonne would grow up and marry and have a child of her own named Frederick. Yvonne would die of pneumonia in 1934 when Frederick was only 9, so Jeanne would take over raising him. Unfortunately, Frederick would also die young when he was killed in an automobile accident in 1963. By 1965, Jeanne would be aged 90, with no close surviving relatives to financially support her. This prompted Jeanne to sign a life estate contract on her apartment with an attorney named André-François Raffray. This contract was a sale of the property in exchange for a right of occupancy and a monthly payment of 2,500 francs until her death. On the surface, this seemed like a great deal for the attorney. But what he didn't count on was the 90-year-old woman living another 32 years, outliving even him. Raffray's wife was required to continue making the payments in the years after André-François' death. They ended up paying Jeanne 3 times the value of the apartment by the time Jeanne died. Jeanne had remarkable health for her advanced age. She took up fencing at the age of 85. She rode her bicycle around Arles after she had turned 100. She lived alone until she was 110, until she was moved into a nursing home due to declining eyesight. Jeanne was recognized as the oldest person alive at the age of 113 in 1988. This, along with her speaking about her meeting with Vincent Van Gogh, helped launch Jeanne into something of a celebrity. What was notable about Jeanne was that she didn't live a particularly healthy lifestyle. She loved to drink wine, she loved chocolate sweets, and she smoked every day from when she was 21 in 1896 until her death in 1997. When asked about the secret to her longevity, she credited it to olive oil. She put olive oil on nearly everything she ate and rubbed it onto her skin regularly. In 1995, Guinness Book of World Records had officially verified Jeanne's age and recognized her as the oldest person to ever live. Even in her final years, Jeanne maintained her sense of humor and liked to keep up with the news and world events. Jeanne would die on August 4, 1997, aged 122 years and 164 days. It is said that she was in good health up until the final months of her life. Jeanne to this day remains the only verified person in human history to have reached the age of 120. She holds the record of oldest person ever by over 3 years. Jeanne is something of an outlier when it comes to longevity, and as a result, there has been much skepticism regarding validation of her age. However, Jeanne's age has been thoroughly verified and documented. Here, you can see her actual birth certificate. There is a record of her in the 1876 French census listed as a year-old. There are many photos of her throughout her life as a young woman all the way until the end of her life. In 2019, 2 Russian mathematicians claimed that someone reaching the age of 122 was statistically impossible, given that nobody in recorded history had ever reached the age of 120. They hypothesized that Jeanne had actually died in 1934, when her daughter Yvonne was said to have died, and that Yvonne assumed her identity in order to avoid an estate tax, which was particularly costly in France during the 1930s. However, people working for Guinness, who helped verify Jeanne's claim, debunked this theory. They said that they had considered the identity swap theory while verifying Jeanne, but that she was able to answer and talk about things that Yvonne could not have known firsthand. Furthermore, they believe the aging progression of Jeanne's appearance throughout photographs in her life matched closer with someone who would have been born in 1875 versus 1898. I would like to thank everyone who watched the entire video. If you enjoyed what you just watched, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment, letting me know you subscribed and what topics you would like to see. I plan to keep making more videos talking about unusual historical figures and events.